You'll follow the road ahead at the roundabout, third exit, turn right. You'll try and do it on your own. I'm just going to say the number 1 to myself repeatedly, nothing to do with your driving lesson, okay? 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So at the roundabout, third exit, turn right. 1, 1, 1, 1. 1. Yeah, this one here. 1. 1. Continue following the road ahead. 1. 1. We're now going to find a safe place to pull up on the left. You can do that on your own. 1. If there isn't a space, check the next road on the left. And pull up anywhere here on the left, avoiding parking opposite a car. So let's go further forward, otherwise we'll end up obstructing the road. We'll park behind a black coloured car. This one here. Okay, not bad at all. Okay, you know, this 1-1, as in O-N-E or W-O-N, doesn't matter which way you say it. Do you understand why I was saying that? There's a reason behind that, actually. It's what your husband does.
Is it like the timing or?
Timing of?
I'm not sure.
Mirror checks.
Oh, I see.
So do you see how sometimes you're actually synchronized? When I'd say 1, you're looking in your mirrors, which was possibly twice, maybe 3 times at the most, between what I said and what you're doing. You need to be very, very close to what I'm saying. So every time I'm saying 1, it's a mirror check that I've made. It might have been the right mirror check, it might have been the inside mirror check, might have been the left mirror check, depending on which side you're merging with. Now, when you're driving this car, you drive this car remarkably well. You drive it fine. There's no problem at all. The only problem I've come across at the moment with you driving is sometimes you're getting too close to one side. It's usually on the left. Now, the reason why we're getting close is we're not looking to the left to see how far we are from the side of the road. That comes under clearance. Be careful, because it happened in your last lesson. We were getting too close to parked object. Now, while you're driving the car, would you understand what tunnel vision is?
Yeah.
Do you understand the concept of that?
Yeah, you're just like looking, like you're in a tunnel, you can only see what's...
That's exactly what's happening with your driving. You drive very, very well. Everything ahead of you, you are completely aware of. Do you know the grey car that was coming out from the side road on Headingley Lane? You didn't see it. You saw it when it appeared, not when it was manifesting, when it was coming out from the side road, where you had at least 2 seconds to respond by looking in your rear view mirror and adjusting your speed just in case he came into your lane. The only people's cars that they're going to come in front of are yours and mine. We're at the bottom of the food chain, so we're just learner drivers, inexperienced, and we're on the road all the time. So if you're going to do something silly, you're going to do it with a vehicle that isn't as good as yours, or somebody that is less experienced. They're going to come in front of your car. So when you're coming along the road, you should have, with your peripheral vision or with your side vision, picked up on a gap like developing from your right, then moved your head physically to the right and seen the gap, then looked in your rear view mirror, very gently adjust your speed if he was going to come into your lane. Whether he was coming in or not, you should have looked to your right. Now the reason why we keep refocusing our observations, as in looking in different mirrors, so we're refocused on what we're doing ahead of us. You drive perfectly fine. There's no problem with what's going on ahead of you, but your side vision, as in your mirror checks, are very weak. That needs to increase in this lesson. However, our objective in this lesson, and this lesson only, is to do a park up on the right and to do an emergency stop. Them are the most important things. So we've done a park up on that. We did do it in our last lesson. So can you remember how we did it?
Check your mirrors, signal right, and then when it's clear, then move over to the right.
Yes.
And then line up with the curb, and then cancel signal, and then put it in park and handbrake.
Yes, and then you'd wait for the next instruction. So even though we tell you quickly, as in when we're teaching UMJ, we might say, okay, now reverse your spaces. Although we say that you let the examiner tell you what to do. So park, wait for your next instruction, which will obviously be reverse 2 spaces. Then wait for the next instruction, which would be to move off when you're ready. But let them explain to you. Now the emergency stop is another maneuver you'll be doing in your lesson with me today, okay?
Okay.
How do you do the emergency stop? Do you have any idea?
So from what I read in your notes, emergency stop is when you stop while driving. So the instructor will put their hand up.
Yes.
And then you're supposed to slow down to a stop, but you shouldn't. I forgot, there was like you shouldn't.
Imagine your mum walking in front of your car without her thinking about you, and just you've got to stop the car as fast as you can, under control.
Yeah.
So that means, would you check your mirrors when you're stopping?
Yes.
No, you wouldn't. The reason why you wouldn't was we would fight. Yeah. Because it's an emergency, and the scenario is, you're driving your car and somebody walks in front of your car.
And then you just have to.
You have to
react.
Hit your brakes hard. What your husband might call slam the anchors.
Yeah.
It's like a slang. I don't know if it's an American term as well, actually. But you slam your brakes on really hard. You keep your foot still. Now my car has ABS. Okay. What's the benefits of having ABS over non-ABS?
It keeps the brakes from locking out if you do slam on the brakes.
And then how does that benefit you when you're driving?
So if I have to do an emergency stop, it's not going to lock the brakes, and I can still move off
and steer.
Yeah,
you can steer. Yeah. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, where is ABS ineffective? Would you know? I'd be very surprised if you know this. Where is it ineffective? Or on what surface would it be ineffective?
Is it like gravel?
Yes. Yeah.
It has nothing to. Yeah.
Absolutely, and also on snow. Or any sort of loose surface. So gravel, we call that a loose surface. So anything where it's a loose surface, or if it's snow, how would you know that your ABS is not agreeing with what you're doing? So your ABS is not working. How would you know it's not working properly?
I'm not sure.
Have you ever had your brake pedal fight you when you're braking?
Yeah.
That's when your ABS is not agreeing with what you're
okay.
doing. So that's usually when you're braking and the pedal's kind of bouncing beneath your foot. Okay, if that happens, all you need to do is release some brake so it stops like fighting you.
Yeah.
But keep your foot on the brake.
Okay.
And then once it stops, start pressing again until it bounces again. Then you come up to the point that it bounces, then press the brake again.
Oh, I see.
That only happens when you're braking on snow or on a loose surface. It doesn't happen when you're driving a car. Okay, so let's say we were driving down the road and your ABS kicked in and you were braking really hard and the back of the car slides to the right.
Mm-hmm.
Which way would you steer?
So the back of the car slides to the right like
yes.
that. Would you steer to...
I'm asking you.
I would...
Which way would you steer?
I would steer to the left.
To the right.
To the right?
You must steer in the direction the back of the car's going. If you steer to the left, you'll induce a donut.
Oh, okay.
The car starts spinning. It's a natural sort of reaction is to steer to the left,
yeah.
Steer to the right. If the car's going to the right, if the back of the car's going to the right, steer to the right. Why would the car skid?
If it was icy.
Yeah, if it's icy or if you've steered aggressively in one direction, or if you're braking very, very hard, or if you're accelerating very, very hard, they're all driver errors. That means you need to travel at a speed that's appropriate for the environment you're in, where you're traveling. Make sure that the speed that you're traveling at is appropriate. To give you an example of that, a learner car just turned into this road just a few moments ago. The instructor emergency braked her, stopped her turning in. I let you turn in, but you approached the junction too fast.
Okay.
So she emergency braked to stop her doing what I let you do.
Okay.
But I should have asked you to slow down earlier for you to come into this turn. So the point I'm trying to make to you is, as you're approaching a road that you cannot see into, continuously reduce your speed until you can, until you know it's safe to go into. So it's all driver error. What we are going to do on this road, we will be doing an emergency stop. Now the scenario is, the situation is, as you travel along this road, any road that you are doing an emergency stop on, your driving examiner has predetermined, is decided, or they've decided that it's safe to do the emergency stop on. So we will not ask you to do an emergency stop on a super busy road.
Yeah.
However, during your driving test, if a situation arises that you are not doing an emergency stop on, however, if you need to do one, you are expected to do one. Even if it's not a part of your driving test. To give you an example of that, on your driving test, when we go inside the test centre, they will call you by your name. They will tell you, okay, MJ, today we are doing a reverse park and we'll be doing 20 minutes of sat nav. Now, if a child walks in front of your car, you have to emergency brake.
Yes.
So that's fine, but it's not a part of your driving test. You won't be failed on it, but you'll end up running over the child if you don't.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
So just because you're not supposed to be doing it on your test doesn't mean that the situation won't arise that you have to do it. So you must understand how to do it. Now, if you are doing an emergency stop on your driving test, they will tell you at the start of your driving test that you will be doing an emergency stop. They will then pull you up to the side of the road like I'm doing now. They will then explain to you, you'll be doing an emergency stop on this road. Do you understand how to do one? You say yes or no.
Yeah.
You say yes, you'll say okay, and then you'll explain the next part. If you say no, you'll say okay, and then you'll fail your driving test. Now, in terms of, you'll say okay, would you like me to explain how to do it, the next instructions? They'll either say that to you or they will actually do it with you. What they'll say to you is, I'd like you to follow the road ahead. I'm then going to look over my right shoulder to make sure it's safe, and we do. I'm then going to raise my right hand and then tell you to stop the car as quick as you can under control. And all you do is you travel along the road, you drive normally, so don't accelerate very, very aggressively. Drive normally, and then he'll look behind him, but don't brake until he raises his hand and says stop. Once he tells you to stop, grip the steering wheel really tight and hit the brakes and keep your foot on the brake. The car will come to a stop. When it comes to a stop, just take a big deep breath. Then you do your all-round observations, including your blind spot checks. Once it's safe, you move off and you follow the road ahead. If it's not safe and there is a vehicle behind you, let the car go round you before you go. So don't move off if there's a car approaching really fast, especially if he's trying to go around you. Okay, once you've done the emergency stop, you'll say, okay, that's the end of your maneuver, that's the end of the emergency stop. Now follow my verbal instructions, and that's it. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
Now, if the speed limit is 30, you need to be travelling normally 22, 23, 24, 25. If the speed limit's 20, don't hit 20, but don't be travelling at 5 expecting him to tell you to stop.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I
Yeah.
mean? Now, the camber of the road, so the design of every road in the UK and in the States, there is a crown in the middle. So there's like a line in the middle, and we technically drive at an angle like this. They technically drive on this side.
Oh,
so
I
when
see.
it rains, the rain drops to either side. That means if you brake really, really hard, your car might pull to one side, usually to the left. If it pulls to the left, all you do is just grip the steering wheel tight and let the car come to a stop. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Do you
just keep
understand?
it from trying to turn.
Yeah, you try and keep the car straight. Okay, in terms of emergency stop, in reality, if you are doing an emergency stop, it means you are not concentrating on your driving. If there's any reason why you've got to do an emergency stop, it means you're not concentrating, or you're just going too fast. Now, usually that means that what you can see and process, there's a lag, and you need to make sure that you're travelling slower, or you can see more of the road. Ideally, it means travelling slower. At Horsforth Driving Test Centre, they do not like fast drivers. They don't like people that crawl up the road, but they like every driving test centre in this country love people that drive with respect. They love people that travel slower and more safely, and that's what we're trying to promote with you. Now, your driving test is in January. We do have some new terms and conditions that are coming in. On the 6th of January, everything changes about a driving test in terms of a couple. Not it doesn't affect you.
Oh, okay.
What I mean by that is for us, some things change. However, they're not going to affect my driving lesson today. It certainly won't affect any more with you yet. We are going to run 2 mock tests with you before your test date. After the 6th of January, I think when my pupils come on board, it's going to be 3. At the moment, it's only going to be 2.
Okay.
So it was 1, it's now going to go to 2, and then it's going to go to 3. However, what we need to do today in this lesson, we need to do an emergency stop. So what I'm going to ask you to do is reverse the car little, move off. We're going to follow the road ahead, and we are going to do an emergency stop on this road, okay?
Okay.
If a car appears behind you, like on your driving test, the examiner will say to you, you are not going to do an emergency stop. There is a vehicle behind us. And then he will say, follow my instructions. And then he will take you to a different road, or maybe in the same road when the vehicle's gone, he will say, okay, we will be doing an emergency stop on this road. So you don't need to worry about your mirrors when you're doing your emergency stop, but when you move off, you must check your mirrors to move off. Okay? Can you turn on my rear demister?
Sorry, which one?
The rear demister. Lovely. And when it's safe to do so, move off. And then we're going to do an emergency stop on this road, please. That noise is normal, okay? So don't worry about that noise. Now there is a vehicle behind us, so we won't be doing the emergency. Actually, it's turning off. So we will be doing one on this road, okay? So follow the road ahead. Stop. Okay, move off when you're ready, please. So MJ, the emergency brake that you did there, it wasn't severe enough.
Okay.
It wasn't quick enough, your reaction. Like your braking was kind of smooth. We want your braking a lot more aggressive when you stop.
Okay.
So we're going to do one more on this road, okay? Stop! And move off when you're ready, please. Much better. Happy with that, yeah? Second one was perfect, well done. Okay, at the end of the road, turn right, please.